want to talk about the difference of managing your life versus allowing your life. Because when you're on a spiritual journey, you come more and more to the understanding that the way to live an easy and loving life is by allowing more and more. So your your higher self, your soul, your heart, or whatever you call that, is more and more present in your life. And you're not thinking your way through your life. You're not managing your life, but you're allowing your life to unfold. Now, what I want to do in this video is to address both, because I've been on this journey for a while and I notice that I start to allow, I go with what wants to move, I follow the flow, and there's always a moment that I start managing again. That my ego jumps in, my human jumps in, and start organizing and managing it. Because we're so used to do so. And so do many. I just had a beautiful conversation with a good friend, and this is what we talked about. So I thought, let me share it with you. I was laying in bed because I'm still a bit sick. So let me see if I can capture my thoughts well enough and stay on focus. But the inspiration was there, and I never let a moment of inspiration pass, as those are the only moments we should move. When we talk about allowing, and I mean that, it's not a joke, but when there is a moment of inspiration, it's there because something wants to move. So I got up, got myself a shower, and I'm sitting here, right? I was also having a call in Light Living, but the energy is still here to record this. So allowing versus managing. And I want to talk about it in such a way that allowing becomes easier and easier, and you become aware when you start managing and when you go away from flow. That's something I've been doing the last weeks, and I feel that there's hardly any management anymore in my life. So let's talk about that. Exciting to talk about. So what does it mean, right? Managing is what we've been doing our whole life. We think that as a human, we are responsible for our life. If we don't do anything, nothing is happening. You need to go to school, you need to get an education, at least that's what we're all told, right? And then you need to have a job so you can make money and you pay bills, and you need to organize it. You need to make it happen. If you work hard, you will achieve, right? So that's what we do. So the only way we think we can get from A to B and from B to Z is when we work at it. We do it, we make it happen, we create. And that is true, we do, but it's often, and more in these days, with that heightened energy and the energy that wants you to live more from that state of allowing, of trust. And allowing more of your heart, your higher self, your soul, the universe, God, whatever you call it, to come through in your life and guide you more. And the human doesn't have to be so busy. You don't have to manage so much. Actually, hardly any, right? Just allow it. So I will come to the allowing part, because it seems like, oh, now I'm going to sit back. Life will happen. No. But you know that. But so managing is a default state for us. We do that all the time. So the difference is with allowing is that we then become aware, first of all, that I have been managing my whole life. I got good at it, and perhaps you as well. I'm good in organizing things, and well, basically it doesn't mean even if you're not good in organizing things, you organize your life. You manage your life. You have a job, you have a project, you have whatever, you buy a new phone and you need to work on it, and you need to change settings there, or whatever you need to do, right? You have a little task and you set yourself to work. And it's hard and it's difficult, and maybe for you it's easy, but I'm just having an example where things are difficult. So it's hard and it's difficult, and you work at it and you feel in your stomach like, oh gosh, I hate this. But you do it anyway. And it's struggle. It takes time. Now, this is just a simple example. This is for your whole life. You do things because you believe just better to do it now, or let me finish it, or this just needs to be done. Get myself doing it. Da 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 da. I see that you and being so busy. Makes sense. That's how we used to do things. So, when you then start to know, let me slow down a bit. When you then start to understand that the way you live from your heart, the way you live from your soul, the way you live from your higher self, God, the universe, the I am, is by allowing that in your life. And by allowing that more, your human steps aside is not the right way to say it, but let's just use that for this talk now. Your human steps aside and allows more of your grandness, your greatness, your pure love to come through in your life. And what that means is you stop managing. Now, what I notice more and more, that I only move by impulse. I only move when I feel something is wanting to flow, wanting to go. And, well, for the example, I don't want to talk about that again. Can't think of another example now. So let me just continue talking. So I just needed to think of a example, and for a moment. I have this tribe, or I have this field, this space. Basically, it's a living field. It's called Light Living. And this is where we come together every week, almost every week, to coexist, basically, to living this way of allowance. There's a lot of things that come with it that is new and unknown. There's things that we think we are the only ones having that, but then you notice everyone is having problems with their memory, or everyone is letting go of identities. Everyone is finding that hard at times. Many are missing sometimes the old person that we were compared to who we're now. Life has become so simple. Sometimes, and that's really the phase of getting used to it, it feels a bit boring. To me, that's less and less boring, but yeah, sometimes I miss the old. The passion and the going for it, and gosh, I can't imagine that. I'm still a bit sick, so like going for it and passion, that's not in my energy at the moment. But how do we know the difference, first of all? So when you're managing, you're working hard, you're putting goals, you're planning the whole thing out, you're doing all the steps, you're organizing it. And does that then mean when you allow, you don't do anything? No, you do. You might even do the same thing, but it comes from a very different energy. So let me have this example. I'm having this group Light Living, and I'm found a job, and I will be working 4 days a week. We're still in the Netherlands. We don't do five working days. You could, but in general we don't. Yes, I know, it's beautiful that way. The payback of that is we pay a lot of taxes. Anyway, paid with love. So what I want to say, I'm all distracted by my own talk. What am I saying? Yes. So I can't do Light Living anymore the way I did. So the logic, the mind is saying, my managing it, is like, okay, then we stop it. And do I then stop my own business as well? Maybe that's better taxes wise and da-da-da. But I feel the moment I go there, that's my higher self, my soul. I feel, and I don't go away from myself to feel it, but I feel in my body when I think of stopping, no. When I think of not having my own business, I feel no, not from my mind, not from the manager, but from the one that allows. I feel, that's not exactly what needs to happen now. And I don't know if next week will be different, but at the moment that doesn't feel right. So I'm like, okay, shall I then stop the weekly calls? Yes, that feels right. Okay. But then it doesn't make sense to have the group up. And it feels like, yes, that sounds right. But nothing in me feels like stopping it. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense in my mind. The manager is not like, what's the task here? What am I about to do? And the task is that there's no task. There never was, by the way. It doesn't need to be managed. Is it okay to not know? Is it okay to not having to have the solutions? Is it okay? That's the allowing, right? And am I then, as the manager, okay with allowing that? We don't need to manage. I'm not the manager as a human, but the ego mind is the manager, right? Nothing wrong with it. It's just what it used to do. That's its function. So what am I doing? I'm like, okay, it will get clear when it gets clear. I don't have to sort that out. Don't have to do anything with it. And think of something you have in your life, because so often we start with something that feels so aligned, that feels so on purpose, that is so in flow. And then there's a certain point, let's say this is your higher self, this is your human, it flows, it goes, and it's so easy. And then there's a certain point that you separate. And you think, okay, we're flowing, but now I need to organize. This is the human. Now I need to start organizing. I need to make that call. I need to do this and that. But you do that from the separation. You take over, basically. You must recognize that in your life, because we all freaking do it. And becoming aware of that is the first most important step there. That you distance yourself and you start to take over. And you start noticing that, because the flow is gone. Oh, it doesn't go that easy anymore. It becomes hard work, and it drains your energy, or you feel pain, or you feel sick, or you feel whatever your expression is, when it's no longer aligned. Eczema or allergy, headaches, whatever is your symptom, when you start doing things that are not aligned. And these times, when you're on this path, on the awakening path, doesn't allow that anymore. So notice when you distance yourself, and then remember, oh yeah, this is where I'm operating from. And your human will, bloop. Oh, that was loud. Your human will come back like a magnet, because it doesn't need to organize. And do I then going to, if that feels aligned, going to stop when there is a moment that I feel, yes, I'm going to stop the business. So I'm going to the, what's the Dutch name, to the commerce or something where my business is registered. And I'm going to cancel that. So when I feel that that's the right action, then my human needs to manage it, in the sense I need to go there and do that, or do it online, whatever, but I need to take that action step. But it's aligned action. It's not the manager doing it. It's me feeling that's the right moment and it's the right time, and let's do it now. Like I felt, let's record this video now. I'm like, really? Now? I'm spending 2 days in bed. I'm just sitting here for the first time, out of bed, showered and everything. It's like, oh, now? Okay. Apparently, otherwise I wouldn't have that idea if I'm not up to it. I'm doing fine. So, we're fine. So notice whenever you in that flow, and when is the moment you start taking over. And all you do is noticing it, feel who you are. You are this, you are the light, you are love, you are pureness, you're everything. You are pure love. Poop, your human is back. No effort, no task, nothing to do. Whenever you notice you're efforting, new verb, when you're efforting, then you're mostly out of alignment. Come back. Because the things you then do don't really cost so much effort. So the aligned action doesn't cost so much effort. And I could say, it's not true, but hear me out, then it's all, that should be easy. Now, this was an easy example, but what if you want to start a YouTube channel, or you want to do something that you want to speak up and out, and go more into the world. That's freaking scary. That is scary, right? I thought it was scary when I look at my videos from years ago. I'm like sitting there straight and talking and doing my thing. And it's so much, now I'm sitting here with so much ease. It's relaxing talking to you. It doesn't cost energy. It will cost if I'm trying to write everything down and plan everything and managing it. But when I stop managing, it doesn't cost energy. All right. I wanted to say something about, does it mean that everything is always easy? No. So when you do something out of your comfort zone, but you feel that that's really what you want to do, you feel not a want from the manager because you want to get somewhere, you want some marketing strategy or da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Not that. But because you feel an innate drive to do that. There's something within you that wants to do that. So that's your soul speaking then, right? And that can come with fear, that can come with anxiety, that can come with doubt, and it's all your ego shouting like, ah. And you might think, oh, then it's not aligned because it's so much obstruct. That doesn't feel like flow. No, it's your ego. That you're doing something that is so out of your scope of what you normally do. And especially for light workers that have many lifetimes where speaking up and speaking your truth was not really rewarded, so to speak. There's some fear there. So that doesn't mean that that's not aligned. So bring your fear along. Said it many times. Then when you do the aligned action because you feel that's what you want to do, bring your fear along. The idea pops up that I was drawn, it was like the south of France, to go live in the south of France. And it's just like there was a magnet in the south of France and I wasn't there. And it wanted to pull me in. It's like, fuck no. I lived in France before. It's the most unhappy place I ever lived for 4 years. It wasn't so much France really, but it was that. Anyway, too long of a story. But I didn't like it, and I didn't want to go to the south of France. So I ignored it. I'm like, yeah, impulse, whatever. I don't want to live there. So I moved here, there, da-da-da, and it was so strong. So strong. I viscerally felt in my body like, oh, I just need to go there. And at a certain point when I told my friend Agnes and she said, oh, I would love to come along. It's like, okay, well, that sounds more exciting. Let us just go for a few weeks and see how it is. Maybe we stay, maybe we don't. Let's see. I was already roving around and had all my stuff in my car. And like, yeah, let's move there for a bit. So it was very great of her to come. And then we stayed much longer. And then I, in the end, stayed 1.5 years by my own, which was absolutely wonderful. Was I doubting it? Yes. Was I fearful? No, really. I was just like, no, screw that. I'm not going to do that. I was resisting it. That's a funny one, right? So it should be, if everything is in flow and your higher self, your soul telling you something, that should be so easy. Yes, but I have my human. And I have my ego that says, well, I have free will, which I have, which I did for half a year, roaming around through Europe, going here, there, places. So I have my free will. But that needed to happen. There was a reason I needed to go there. And it was amazing. There were so many reasons. I don't want to go into that now. Not that it's a secret. It's all out there on the YouTube channel, but so, yeah, resistance. But it was that very clear feeling that needed to happen. Anyway, so allowing more and more. So notice, I'm just going to say that again because that's the most important thing. Notice when you're in flow and when you start distance yourself and you start managing. So sometimes you might, in allowance or managing your life, you might actually do exactly the same things. You might make the same phone calls. You might make the same decisions. You might create the same things. When it comes from that separation, it's hard work. When you do it from alignment, it's way easier. And then everything, the right people are on your path, and things become easier because it's guided. And like with light living, it doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me why I had to go to France. Only once I was there, I started to understand. And there was meetings with myself in past lives, and I needed to be a year in solitude, and it has brought me so much, and da-da-da. I didn't know. I don't understand why light living and my pride, well, my own business, why I can't close that. I can, if I want. I have free will. I can do that. Organize tomorrow. No problem. But I don't want to be the manager of my life. You know how hard that work that is. You know that. It's damn hard work. And that's why things are blocked. When things are blocked, it's because you're managing. Why are you procrastinating? Because you're managing. Why do things feel heavy? Because you're managing. This. And if you don't know, this sounds ridiculous. So yeah, if you don't know how to do that, you know how to live from here. That's my whole program I have. It's called Starseed Living. It's not for starseeds alone. It's for everyone. I was so much into starseeds. Done now. Done and over with. Not that I don't believe anything I said, but that's just not an identity. That is important. Let it go. I have let it go. So it's still called like that. But that one is really to start living in alignment. It's a 3-month program, but it's thorough. Step by step. Living in that alignment. Allowing that more. Stop managing, right? And I'm laughing about that. Because I'm like, shall I stop my business? That's part of my business. Yeah. Yeah. And the beautiful there is also, like, immediately my thought is, yeah, no, nobody's going to go there because it's cost managing. And the allowance, it's there, it's available. If anyone needs it, go and find it. Go give yourself that gift. Or ask for a call with me if you want. Anyway, I don't really mind. I don't really mind. Wherever that goes. That's also a place when you start to allow more, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if things sell or not. It doesn't matter if things work out or not. I'm just here. I'm present with myself. I'm in that alignment. And that's all that matters. And from there to operate. So I still do things that don't always seem so logic to me, but it's just what needs to happen in that moment. Like, okay, that's what it is. That's what we do. Yes. And with that also, let's see where that brings me. Last thing. If you followed me and you watched this till the end, you're the one that needs to hear this. You heard how I had these money issues. You hear me talking in the past. I finally landed myself a job, and a very nice one. I don't want to go into that before I sign the contract, but it looks wonderful, and I'm very excited by that. But am I still going to do the YouTube channel? I don't know. Before I was doing it every Monday, you have a new video. I don't think that's going to happen. Is whenever I feel like I want to do a video, that's when one's coming. And if that is once a month or every 2 days, probably not. We will see. I don't know. Whenever it feels right is when I will make a video. There's simply less time. All right, beautiful you. Let's see how life unfolds and allowing it to unfold. Much love from me, and it was a beauty to do this together with you. See you in another one. Much, much, much love.